What's good, everybody? FinerBub here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today, we're talking about our last day in Iceland where we hiked Glymur to Glymurfoss and then we chilled in this dope hot spring river. Coming up right after this. All right, welcome back to the Iceland travel series. Thank you for joining us. What am I saying? Us, precious. Welcome back to the Iceland travel series. Thanks for checking out the video. If you missed last week's video about the Snæfellsnes Peninsula and the Northern Lights and our long drive from Akureyri to the West Fjords and all that, you can click or tap right here for that. Otherwise, without further ado, let us begin. Nobody got any sleep that night. Northern Lights were super epic and we stayed up super late watching that, but then as soon as we went to bed, let me backtrack a little bit. So around the time we were making dinner earlier when we were determining whether or not to go to the Elborg crater, so thought about walking there, but it would have taken like 45 minutes each way and we were all so tired and you could see it from there, so I was like, whatever, we're not gonna go. These tour buses pulled up to these cabins, and so on this campground there was like a main sort of barn house that you could rent these bunk beds in, and that's where the bathrooms were, where you could fill up your water bottle and everything, and there was like a little dining hall in there where you could eat. We just chilled on the picnic benches outside. It was no big deal. We just set up our car right next to the picnic bench, and that's where we put our tents, and yeah, it was fine. But yeah, next to the main building are these cabins that you can rent out. I guess they're more expensive or whatever. So this huge tour group came and they were just being so loud. It was ridiculous. I mean, like, we're all sleeping in tents outside on this lawn, and there are other people there too, like camped in their own little areas, but these people were just screaming at each other like across these cabins as if they had no sense of just respecting the fact that there are other people around them and it's the middle of the night and people are trying to sleep. And that was just really frustrating, but whatever. I mean, we had a great time and it wasn't like gonna destroy our spirits. But my point is we woke up super tired and we just like had to get out of that campsite. It was a bright sunny day, but it was still really cold and windy, so we packed up the car as soon as we could, and then we drove to this bus station that was also kind of like an info center where Yair was going to catch his bus back to the airport so that he could make his flight on time, and then that's where we ate breakfast, and there was all these gift shops there, it's a gas station and everything. So we sort of did our little refuel there before Yair got on the bus. We said goodbye to him, and then we drove to Glymur. Everything we did in the last couple of days is all within driving distance of Reykjavik, so if you feel like using Reykjavik as your home base and you don't want to go all the way to the east or north of Iceland, then you can do a lot just spending a day going in each direction. Like one day at the Golden Circle, one day Snæfellsnes, one day Glymur. Probably drive all the way down to Vik in one day if you really wanted to. Leave early in the morning. So we drove to Glymur. We got there kind of mid-morning. It was a bright and sunny day and it started warming up at that point. Up ahead is like this giant mountain just like in view the whole time, and you're just like sort of going over these hills with these bushes through these paths and stuff, and then at one point you like go through this awesome cave and then you have to cross over over a river holding a rope, and then once you get across the river is when the like actual uphill starts. And this was definitely one of the more strenuous hikes we did. You're basically hiking up along this canyon, and then eventually you'll get to this cliff where you can see the waterfall, and if you want you can like walk all the way up and all the way around to where the waterfall starts, but we had other things we wanted to do that day. So once we got to the point where we could see the waterfall clearly, we took a few pictures. It was the middle of the day, so the shadows were all weird and messed up, but it was just really cool to be there, and it was nice that it was sunny out. You also just get these epic views of the valley below. So it's like on the one hand you're looking at this awesome mountain with a cool waterfall coming off of it, but then you just turn around, you just have a whole other awesome view. And like I said in a previous video, there aren't that many trees in Iceland, so your view is never going to be blocked really, so you just get this like continually evolving epic view in every direction, and the landscapes are so contrasty and different. Like on one side you see this just like desolate Mordor, and then on the other side it's just like beautiful rolling green hills, and then beautiful valley with water, and then waterfalls, and it's just like, where are we? Anyway, we got to that cliff, and then we decided to turn around and we headed back down and jump back in the car to drive to these thermal hot spring rivers called Reykjadalur. I can't pronounce any of these names, but we went to this hot spring river, and you basically park at the bottom and you walk up this kind of like a windy dirt road, I guess. Not a very strenuous hike again, but you know, you're doing like 3 of these in a day or 2 of them in a day, and you get your steps in, that's for sure. I was actually testing some shoes for this company that I used to freelance for, and they made me count my steps, and so I think I did something like 70 miles or something like that of hiking altogether over the course of the Iceland trip. So you know, obviously if you're hiking the AT, that's like 2 days or whatever, but if you're not used to doing super long distance long trail hiking, then it's significant. It's definitely some decent exercise, and it's fun. So yeah, you're hiking up this thing, and we're watching the sun set over the mountains as we were walking up this hill. It's crazy because you're like in the Shire. It's just beautiful grass, green rolling hills, and then you turn around the corner, and then all of a sudden there's just like bubbling pits of Mordor doom.
Smells like eggs. Sulfur.
And they're all roped off, so you're not going to fall in or anything. You don't have to worry about that. But eventually you'll get up to the place where you can go swimming, and there are these docks along the side of the river with these, I guess they're like little walls that you can change behind if you want to change into a bathing suit. I actually forgot my bathing suit in the car, so I just like went in my underwear, and there were like people just naked there anyway, so it didn't really matter. So yeah, we just chilled in this hot spring for a while, just like lying down in this river. And at first we got in close to the top, and it was just way too hot. Couldn't handle it. What's great about the river as opposed to like a hot spring pool is that the temperature is really regulated by how far down the river you go. So if you just go down like a couple tiers, it's a little bit cooler. It was still super comfortable, and it was just nice to lie in this hot spring water after doing so much hiking and sitting in the car and stuff and camping, sleeping on the ground. So yeah, it was just a really great way to end the trip. And yeah, after that we got out of the water and just like quickly put on our clothes even though we were wet and cold, and just started hiking again until we warmed up, and got back down to the car as it was like getting pretty dark. And then we just basically drove around until we found a campsite, and we were like driving through these suburbs for a while. It just like appeared out of nowhere. We finally found it. Set up camp, made some dinner, and yeah, went to bed. And then the next morning we woke up, packed up camp, and then we put all of our extra stove fuel and extra rice and like potatoes and whatever leftover food we had in like a, I guess it's like a hiker box, but it's just sort of like a community box at the campsite for other campers who might have ran out of something specific, and you know, we weren't going to use it anyway, so might as well not waste it and might as well give it to someone who will use it. So we just left it in that box there. And yeah, from there we went to our last bakery of Iceland and got some chocolate croissants and some coffee, Americano style, and then hopped back in the car, drove to the airport, returned the car, got on the plane, back to Boston, end of the trip. Yeah, that was the Iceland trip. It was awesome. You should definitely go to Iceland. If you're interested in more information on the places we visited, a full itinerary of our trip, and a full list of the gear we brought with, be sure to check out the full article at FinerBub.com/Iceland. And if you like this video, you think you might enjoy more content of the sort, consider subscribing. Please share it on social media and send it to any friends you know of who are thinking of planning a trip to Iceland. If you've been to any of the places I talked about in this video or in the series in general, and you had a different experience, be sure to leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I keep saying this in all my videos, but I really just want to foster a community where people are free to have a conversation and a dialogue back and forth and learn from each other's experiences. And I just feel like it can only add to the benefit that people will gain from the videos if there are more perspectives than just mine. And so, yeah, if you have something that you want to talk about, or if you have any questions about my trip, or you just want to say hi, please leave a comment in the box below. But before you do, I just want to thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking through, supporting the channel. You know, I've been putting a lot of work into it, and you know, I hope that the video quality has improved since the Thailand series. My goal is to constantly keep improving this stuff and keep learning and keep exploring, and not only for my own benefit, but for the benefit of you who have chosen to watch this stuff. So yeah, I just really appreciate it. So thank you so much. What do I say at the end? If you're planning your next trip, don't let the small details stress you out. Remember, life's an adventure, so relax, breathe in the outdoors, and don't forget to appreciate the finer things in life. See you out there, people. Peace.